You are listening to the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast, and I want to know, what were you just thinking about? And can you even answer that question? Were you present, or were your thoughts all over the place and on one of those 1,000 open tabs you have in your head? People in general, moms especially, we have our head filled with noise. So much noise. There are to-do lists floating around, there are schedules demanding our attention. And then for entrepreneurs, this of course doubles because, well, your business is your baby too. So you have thoughts about your business, about your to-dos, about your team, etc., etc., etc. While things like clarity, inspiration, great ideas and solutions to those problems that you have usually comes to us in silence. So, not proactively clearing your head of noise is therefore a dumb thing to do. And on that cheerful note, I bid you a warm welcome to this newest episode. Hi, I'm Ayla, and for over a decade I've been dedicated to helping entrepreneurs thrive. Welcome to the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast. Here, we focus on personal growth so your business can grow alongside you. Discover how to optimize your business, elevate your mindset, and truly feel and act like a CEO. This is more than just business, it's about transforming your entire entrepreneurial journey. Join me on this path to unlock your fullest potential. Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcasts. I am so very happy that you're here with me today. I'm on a roll. I'm doing so much behind the scenes of the Female Entrepreneurs Network. And yeah, it's bringing me so much joy to do it, even though it's not really visible on the outside yet. It's been so much fun so far. I've been working on so many goals that I want to make and then set the systems in place to achieve those goals. Well, it's right up my alley. I've been diving deep into astrology lately for like this last half year and even more like recently lately. And I'm coming to find that the way I'm working right now is right in line with the way the planets are telling me how to work. It sounds so woo-woo when you say it like that. But for me, it's really helping a lot. It's explaining some things in my life. It's encouraging me to indeed get those systems in place. If I feel I need to have systems, then I don't know. It's normally I would feel like I would maybe procrastinate taking actual action and just keep working on the systems instead of taking actionable steps. But in this case, my systems are pushing me forward to take more steps. So it's amazing on this side of the microphone, and I really hope that it's amazing on your side as well. One of the other things I've been working on lately is getting quiet. And that's not easy, to be honest. Getting quiet means getting a moment for yourself, actually taking rest, and then on top of that, actually being quiet. My thoughts run all over the place, or I don't even allow them in there because I usually have my earbuds in and listening to a podcast or an audiobook, anything. So my head is constantly being filled with all kinds of stuff. So getting quiet is, a challenge. So I figured, as with most of these podcasts, I'm making them for you, but I'm making them for myself too. And yeah, as I said, not clearing your head of noise is a dumb thing to do. And since I'm making it for myself, I can say it. I'm not calling you dumb, I'm calling myself dumb. It means if you never get quiet, you never actually give yourself a break to come up with the solutions for all the stuff you're wondering about. So I know that you're wondering about stuff, you're thinking about stuff, your head's going. But instead of giving your head an actual moment to catch up and maybe get that answer ready, whoop, you're on to the next thing, boop, 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 and then next thing. And the solution might be right there, but you're canceling it out by keeping the noise alive and kicking. One of my absolute favorite examples of the importance of just getting quiet is the origin story of, my favorite books, In the Wide World I think they will forever be my favorite books. I'm talking about the Harry Potter series. J.K. Rowling, she got the idea for it on a train ride. You probably know this story. I mean, famous books, famous story. Maybe you don't know it. She was on a train ride from Manchester to London, and she had no pen and paper with her, so she couldn't get into action, as we very often do when we have an idea. You get into action. I can see myself doing it, just writing down, ooh, cool story about wizard kid. But she couldn't. And she had time on her hands. She had nowhere to be except on that train. She had nothing else to do except think about that story. So she let her mind wander and she envisioned the entire concept. And just imagine that she had gotten that idea for Harry Potter during like dinner rush or something, and then just figured, what a weird idea. And she got on with her life. That would mean there would be no Harry Potter for us. And that's a sad idea. Probably we wouldn't have had an iPhone because Steve Jobs as well, he praised quietness, meditation for some of his best ideas. He would take long walks in silence while thinking about his next move. So when I wrote that down, I was like, was he then quiet or was he thinking? But there's an actual sort of gray area in between where you can give your mind a direction and say to your subconscious, hey, think about my next move. And then you get into quiet. You get to walking and you get present with your surroundings, with just being here in the moment. And then your mind's going to do what it does best in the background. I love that about your mind, actually. It's not easy, as I said, to get quiet. You probably have to force your mind into silence from time to time. And this is preferably more often than not, although it may feel counterproductive. Because as I said, the solution... No, I'm not going to say that right now. What I actually want to say is I am a big fan... It would be so random if I just started talking about, I'm a big fan of Taylor Swift. No, I'm a big fan of the concept that your present mind and your subconscious mind are two separate things, two sort of separate entities. And I know that your subconscious mind is really programmed to answer questions. This is why I very often practice with ask-formations, for example, instead of affirmations, where say you want to lose weight. This is something that's top of mind for me. So for an affirmation, you would just say, I have such a beautiful and lean body. For me, that's not really working because when I say that, I have such a beautiful and lean body, my sort of present mind just goes, wah, that's a lie. And then I have to get into an argument with myself. Go, no, but it is beautiful. Yeah, but it's not lean. Yeah, but it doesn't matter because it gave me my kids. And it's not getting me anywhere. However, when I want to reprogram my mind into thinking about my future lean body, my lean body to be, I skip to ask-formations and I ask myself, how is it that I have such a beautiful and lean body? And then I can't argue with that. I can't argue with a question. I just go, that's an interesting question. How is it? And that sort of gets your subconscious mind going. And this is the same thing. This will work the same thing for the solution for any problem you might have. If you ask yourself a question about the problem you're looking into, and then you get quiet. And as I said, the being still, the being quiet might feel counterproductive because we like to be busy and we like to sit behind our computers and proactively work towards a solution. But sometimes it's just such a faster way because you're going to create time on another level when you sit down and sit with a question for a minute. In the long run, because I'm just talking about the here and now, right now, in the long run, this will help massively because once you train yourself to be silent, to get quiet, it will get easier to hear the voice within who has the solutions, who has the ideas. Because at first your mind is just going to go, pa, 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 pa. For me, shall I just make a Taylor Swift reference again? Yes, I will. No, it's not just my best friend Tay Tay. It's all the musicians in the world. For me, there is always music playing in my head. Always. Day or night, there is a song in there. And it used to be really hard for me to get quiet because when I drowned out the noise of my own 1,000 open tabs and inner voices, I would always be stuck with a song. And it's usually something earwormy, Beatles, she loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. And you just keep repeating that, just going, oh, okay, thank you, brain. But by now I'm so trained in it that it just gets easier to say, okay, Beatles, love your song, thank you, another time maybe. So the more you'll do it, the easier it gets. So this will help you in the long run. It's, as I said, it's like a muscle you train. The more often you get present, the more often you get into silence, the easier it will get. And, fun thing, it will make you more fun as a person too. Because a quieter mind makes you a more present mom, a more present wife, a more present leader to your team. Seriously, benefits all around. I actually had that just this morning. I was not getting anything done, but literally anything. I wanted to do laundry, but I left my laundry basket somewhere on the stairs. I wanted to do some renovations in the castle, and I just kept going back and forth because I kept forgetting a tool. I kept running into the problem that I needed to do this first before I could do that. I wanted to work. And I just, nothing came out. Whatever I did, nothing came out. And I finally realized that it was because I'd been running around like crazy for a week straight. Literally a week straight. We were super busy during the weekend. Then work started again. And in the evenings, I was working as well. I was getting up early. And yeah, then it was a Thursday and I wanted to do something. And my mind was just going, nope, this is not happening. You've been running around for a week. You need to get quiet before you get anything done. And so I did. And I want you to be able to get quiet as well. So that's why I wanted to do this podcast, because I was talking about this with a friend and she has been wanting to get into meditation. And she said, it's just, I don't see myself doing it. I don't see myself sitting down and just going, or something like that. Just even getting to sit down is quiet and be still. And I said to her, it's not the only way to get your head quiet. There are many ways there are many ways in which you can get your head to be quiet. Sorry, I'm having trouble with the King's English again. As per usual, I hope that by now I have some regular listeners and they will know that I trip over my words very often because English is not my native language, as you've probably heard by the accent. And so I sometimes trip over my words. And I actually, before I had my VA edit out a lot of it, but I decided that from now on I'm going to keep it in because I like you to hear me stutter. No, because I want to be me and I stutter in my English. That's what I do. Yeah, sorry, sidetrack there. How to make your head go silent. First of all, and this is my absolute lifesaver, day or night, I have a list. I work in Notion, the program Notion. And if you are not yet also doing that, you should. No, it doesn't matter. I love Notion because it contains my entire life and I love it to bits. There are, of course, many ways in which you can do this, but you have to keep a list ready to get stuff out of your head immediately when it pops up. As I said, I work with Notion and I created a widget on my phone. So on my home screen of my phone, I have a direct line to a list, which is called I can't even pronounce it, brain blurbs. And anytime I hear something in a podcast that I want to remember or my brain spits out something, I write it in there. I also have grocery list right there as well and stuff like that. But this is specifically, mostly I use my brain blurbs list for business things. And then once a week, I will sit with that list and process it into either tasks that I need to do or things that I wanted to look up look that up then at that moment. Get action from that list. So it's not a list that accumulates forever and ever. It's just a list to get your head empty and quiet again. So, it's quiet. It's nice. Another way to get your head quiet, of course, is journaling, brain dumping. There are 1,000 ways to journal. I'll just describe for you what I'm doing because I think it's very personal. And I think as I said, there are many ways to do it. So for me, I usually journal first thing in the morning. If there's anything on my mind, I'll journal it out and I don't take it with me into the day because not anymore, but I used to really hang on to bad thoughts. So if I was in like half an argument with my husband on something petty, toilet seat, for example, it's a bad example because we never argue about the toilet seat, but one of those household chores arguments that you're really not looking forward to getting into, but it's on your mind and it has been on your mind. And when I don't write about stuff like that, it stays in my mind and it will give me a bad mood for the rest of the day. While as in the morning, I write it out and I just go, ugh, my husband's so annoying. Then it's out and it's not even a problem anymore. And for the last half year, I've been doing so much mindset work that I don't really have stuff like that anymore. I'm just very grateful all the time, which sounds really, I know, but it's true. And so I still want to journal. And I often, if I can think about anything, I will often say something about what I will release that day. And then usually something comes to mind. So I'll just start my journaling post with today I'm releasing, and then something comes. Releasing controlling the kids or something random. And then I give myself permission to just write on that, and it's nice. Then I get to take that with me into the day. So whenever I feel stressed with the kids doing something, I just go, no, I released that this morning. I don't have to respond in this way or react in this certain way. Also, gratitude journaling. I'm doing an entire podcast on that later on, so I won't get into that in depth because I will in another episode. But gratitude journaling has been a big favorite of mine. Also something you don't need to think about really hard, that just comes. And it's really nice to get your head silenced. Then, of course, there's meditation. Meditation can be done in a gazillion different ways as well. And for that, I will also just state what I'll do. For me, the thing I use the most for meditation are binaural beats. Binaural beats, I don't know how you pronounce binaural beats, I think it is. And it's basically just wavy alien-like noises, like if you were floating in outer space. And it's designed to get your, and it's not just designed to do that, I think it's scientifically proven that it does that. It gets your head to, no, it gets your brain to brainwave on certain frequencies. Is that a way to explain it? I guess when you listen to this, they're sending out a frequency, and then it just goes whoa, 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 and your brain starts to match that frequency, and you'll get into a theta state or a beta state or an alpha state. It depends on the binaural beats that you listen to. There is a binaural beats list from Spotify itself. It's called Binaural Beats Meditation. That's the list I use to meditate. Easy does it, guys. And it's also with stuff like that, if you always keep coming back to the same list, your brain is like a little doggy that can be trained. So now whenever I put on that list, I close my eyes. You do it with earbuds, by the way, with your headphones, earbuds. And then just like the first second, my brain goes, we're going to meditate, boom, and I'm just gone. I listen to the noises and my head's quiet and I go to magical places. The second way you can meditate are, of course, guided meditations. Loving those as well. It depends on the goal you have. Because for me, when I want to get quiet, I want to get quiet. And a guided meditation will, well, it does as it said on the tin, it will guide you somewhere, which is great. And especially if you're a beginner, guided meditations are perfect because every time you sort of start to drift, it will get you back into the meditation and back to being present with yourself. But it's not quiet. I think it's not quiet. It's someone is guiding you somewhere. But yeah, it still works. I have a few that I really love. I love the meditations that both Catherine Zankina and Marley Rose Harris give. They are Manifestation Babe and, well, Marley Rose Harris is just Marley Rose Harris. But they have awesome guided meditations. They have nice voices and I get really great results whenever I listen to one of them. The last one is my absolute favorite to do in the middle of the night when I'm up and my brain is running in circles. Probably you notice in the middle of the night when you are awake and your head just is going all over the place. I think I've talked about this before. I think in the night there's a filter missing, which is why your head is just going over all kinds of doom scenarios and stuff like that. What I do then is what I call the classroom exercise. I'm the teacher and I just envision myself standing in front of a classroom and all my voices and the music and everyone's in there. And because I'm the teacher, I can easily point them out. And whenever one of the voices starts talking about the fact that we have no heating in the winter, I just look at them and say, you need to be quiet. You need to be working on your work right now because, that's what teachers say. You need to be quiet right now. And then, that's noise, that voice is silent. And then the next one comes that goes, maybe the puppy needs to pee. It's the middle of the night, could be like, okay, thank you for your input, but the puppy will let us know if she needs to go. Now be silent. And one by one, I silence all the voices that are there. And then usually there's a musician in the back of the classroom playing a song. So I just go, thank you so much, Miley, Flowers. It's a great song, but you're going to have to take it to the music room. So please leave the classroom. Over there's the music room. It's completely soundproof. You go play your song in there. And then, poop, Miley Cyrus walks out of my head. Sometimes the musicians come back, but you just get to dismiss them because you're in that teacher role. You dismiss everyone who's in there. And that's a really great exercise. And then you have your mind silenced. This is something you don't necessarily need to do in the middle of the night as well. You can, especially if you're great at visualization, this is a very good way to get your head to be quiet. Okay, the last one, and I just came up with, it's not, I didn't come up with it. It just popped into my head, is maybe my favorite. Although I think I said that for all of them. Because it's my favorite, because you can do it anywhere, anytime. I think that a lot of people, when they think about getting quiet, they just see themselves sitting somewhere all zen for hours and hours, discovering the depths of their mind. But it doesn't have to be like that. That's not what quiet has to be. My favorite thing to get quiet in a moment of utter chaos is singling out sounds. Either in a song, for example, when I'm anxious in the doctor's waiting room and there's music playing, I focus on the music. And let's say they're playing some jazzy jazz, and then, not jazzy jazz, the singer, I was just jazzing jazz music. You want to focus on the piano. Okay, you got the piano. Next, you're trying to figure out the bass line. Then you're focusing on the drums, etc., etc. Music, it works with it. You can do it in nature as well. You hear water, like a brook trickling down some rocks somewhere. You hear wind whistling in the leaves. Oh, there's a bird somewhere there. You can always focus on sounds that you can single out And then, of course, the trick is to just accept them for what they are. Because I know for me, when I'm really anxious and I hear like a scooter driving by or a train honking its horn or something like that, you just go, ugh, noisy. But no, you don't want to hang a judgment on it. You just want to single out the sounds that you hear and then just go, ooh, sound. Okay, next sound, next sound, next sound. And you keep doing this. You can do this for physical sensations as well. The wind is just blowing some hair onto my face. I have an itch on my leg. This seat is pressing into my thigh. You know what I mean. This is a really quick solution to getting silent, to getting quiet, to just stop the noise in your head from running around all the time. Okay, that's it. I really hope that if you weren't already accustomed to getting quiet now and then, you have been inspired by this episode to do so every once in a while, because it's really nice for you to do it. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you know someone who can benefit from what you've heard here today, please share the episode with them. I am eternally grateful. I really hope to get this podcast, and I really want to get this podcast to as many women as possible who can use the help, who can use it to make their lives a bit better. That's what I'm setting out to do. So thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for forwarding it to whoever needs to hear it as well. I wish you a lovely day. Bye. See you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast. I hope you loved what you heard today. And if you did, it would mean a world to me if you could leave a review. Because believe it or not, reviews on podcasts are actually still used to make sure more people get to see this podcast in their screens and maybe click on it and learn something as well. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.